Hello and welcome back to the Great Journey podcast. Today we're here with Sensei Marty Callahan, who has what he calls a cautionary tale for us. Sensei, I'm curious. Tell us the story.
Yes. This is a story about a boy who came into our school when he was about 4 years old. This is roughly 5 years ago. He was a beautiful young child and a joy for us as instructors to work with him. But he had a lot of self-control issues, and he didn't stay here long enough for us to really make some serious progress in that regard.
Okay.
And then his mother, who we got to know, was a single mom. She was a permissive parent.
Okay.
So there was a lot of love, but little in the way of rules.
Right.
Rules were what he needed in order to develop his self-control.
Yes.
So now, 5 years later, the mom brings him back into our school, and we sit down to talk, and it becomes apparent after a few minutes of the conversation that the boy had not learned much at all. And he was very disrespectful to his mother.
Okay.
And I realized that the root of the problem, she wanted me to fix him.
Right.
But it wasn't him that needed the fixing.
Yes.
It was her that needed the fixing.
Right.
Because believe me, if he was my child,
Yes.
he would not be talking like that.
Right.
Because I would have fixed that problem long time ago.
Yeah.
But she couldn't really fix it because of her approach towards parenting, her philosophy, which was to be permissive.
Yeah.
And I learned from studying parenting styles a year or so ago, was that there were basically 4 different types of parenting styles. There was the authoritarian parent who had no love, but it was all rules. And then there was the absent parent who didn't have any rules and any love. Then there was the permissive parent who had lots of love, but no rules. And then there was the authoritative parent who had lots of loves and lots of rules.
Right.
And I think we did a previous podcast in which we talked about
the different parenting styles.
Yeah. And I think we titled it it was summarized by a parent who came to me one time and told me that he had a mother he knew who loved him,
right,
but he also knew that if he ever crossed the line,
right,
she would have killed him.
Yes, that was the title. Good memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sticks out.
Yeah, it does. It does. That'll catch your attention.
Yeah. So this was a sad example of a permissive parent who now her son 5 years later, her beautiful 4-year-old boy 5 years later, is this disrespectful child who was, and actually he had been kicking and hitting some other kids at school. The parents of that other kid complained about it, and he was getting close to being kicked out of his school. And he had gone to a private elementary school that did not agree with the structure that we were putting in place to teach him self-control.
So conflicting philosophies don't work. That makes the child even more confused, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the real sad part about this is that if she doesn't get a handle on this now, she's only got 3 or 4 more years. He's going to be 13, 14 years old soon, and she will have lost complete control of him.
I've actually read statistics that you can almost tell within the first 7 years of a child's life.
Yeah.
Basically, without sounding super grim, but whether or not they'll be going to prison or not. Those first years are so crucial. And that's why it's great, because even past 7, here we are still able to help them and fix that broken road before it goes down a worse path. But it's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
We need to remember that rules are a showing of love as well. I think about this story that someone said, like the little battery operated vehicles that, your little 4-year-old drives around, and his kid was out front and the gate was left open. He goes out at some point, and the kid was like just going down the little road, not in the road, but on the side of the road. And obviously you don't need a 4-year-old out along the road. And he was trying to explain to him, one, that gate is there to protect you. You can have all the fun you want within the gate.
Yep.
Gate was left open, that was too bad, but the visual of the boundaries are there to protect you so that you have the freedom to enjoy things within those boundaries. So I'm a big proponent of lots of love. I adore my children, but I adore them so much that sometimes I have to tell them no and make hard decisions for them that they're not super fans of. It's what they say, if your kids at some point aren't happy with you, then you're doing the right thing. But I know my kids love me. They know I do my best too, but it's very important. Self-control, discipline, all those things. So
let me add one more thing. So
sure.
There is a saying that says that the way to control a cow is to give it a big pasture.
Okay. Yes.
So you're setting boundaries for the cow.
Right.
But
it has freedom within the pasture.
It's got freedom within that, right?
Yeah.
So the fences are still there.
Yes.
But the cow is free to move around.
Right.
And then in terms of the personal development side to that, is that what you do is you slowly bring the fences in. And as you bring the fences in, then the individual has to concentrate on themselves and their energy that they have. Instead of going out into the world, outward, their energy turns and goes inward.
Right. Okay.
This is what botanists and plant who work with the little plants that they grow bonsai plants.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're doing, is that they're wiring the branches and they're nipping away at the branches that they grow so that the energy of the plant will go inward.
Okay.
Yeah. And there are some, I went to I think the botany to
horticultural
yes,
okay,
right, in San Francisco.
Okay.
And there was a plant down there, a tree, like a pine tree, that was 500 years old.
Wow.
And it didn't stand any more than 4 or 5 feet tall. And it had a breadth of about 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
But
they just hadn't worked it.
Yeah. And all for the last 400 or 500 years, all the energy of the plant had been directed inward. And it was a very strong plant. You could tell by looking at it.
Oh gosh, that's a great visual.
Yeah.
That's a really great visual. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to, now I'll look at trees differently. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Sensei. And we hope that was some encouragement for you today. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you next time on the Great Journey podcast. Talk to you soon.